Tally and Farrell here from Bored of It, and today we're going to talk to you about another swashbuckling game, Forgotten Waters. So make sure to grab your rum and pickled sea slugs.
Disclaimer, please do not feed pickled sea slugs to dogs. May cause heartburn. Terms and conditions apply.
As we tell you why we love this charming pirate game.
Forgotten Waters is a narrative, app-driven game with some light RPG elements. And this is because you take on the role of a pirate who has just joined a new ship and is setting sail for adventure. To win, you'll have to complete the main quest, but you'll also have to better your pirate and complete personal goals to win. Everything is taken care of by the app, e.g. the narration and the quest. And let me just say, the narration and sound effects are top-notch. Now, this game is for between 3 and 7 players. It's cooperative, but there are also variants in the app that allow you to play with 1 player or 2 players.
We didn't even intend to review this game, but after the first time we played it with our group, we just knew we had to spread the word, and we really just wanted to talk about how much fun we had. Passing a sheet from the pirate book to each player. Each one is totally different with completely personalised background, milestones and endings. You'll make a name. We recommend using the pirate name generator on the back of the rulebook and do some mad libs. Then you'll read out your backstory, filling in the blanks with your words. After which you'll assign roles to each player, with each role being responsible for tracking one of your ship stats, such as how much damage your hull has taken or the number of supplies you have. Finally, you'll set up the map and gamebook as instructed in the app based on the scenario you've picked and create the pools of cards and tokens. Once you're ready to begin, your turns are exceedingly simple. Someone will start the timer in the app, and then you have 40 frantic seconds for all players to place their player standee on an action where your ship is currently located. Players will choose in order of highest to lowest infamy, which is essentially just turn order. If you don't complete it before the timer runs out, your crew becomes discontent, which is bad. Blue spaces mean that only one person can place their standee there, whilst green spaces mean multiple players can go there. The red spaces mean that somebody has to put their standee there, which often falls to the last person on the infamy track. Spaces can also be locked off, meaning that nobody can put their standee there. However, you don't know exactly what you'll be doing when you choose an action. You're supposed to choose based on the title and the symbol, and you'll find out more during the action phase. And you'll resolve the actions in the action phase in number order, and it mainly consists of rolling a 12-sided die, adding on any gained skills or bonuses, and then resolving based on your final total. Once each player has resolved their actions, you'll enter the number at the bottom of the page into the app and start a new round, either in the same location or in a new one. Your goal as a crew is to complete the objective that's on the mission card, and your personal goal as a pirate is to collect at least 4 constellation tokens. Throughout the game, you'll be improving your skills, and when you cross off a box that has a star in it, you can fill in a constellation from your map. And when you fill in a constellation that has an exclamation point in it, then you collect the constellation token. And then you'll be able to read out a personal milestone from your own pirate story. However, the seas are not a friendly place, and you'll have to manage your ship carefully, as there are several ways you can lose the game, such as your ship sinking from a busted hull or your crew declaring a mutiny.
Now, each scenario will take between 4 and 5 hours, and they provide a save point about halfway through each scenario. We've never actually taken advantage of it because we've always been having too much fun, so we've just steamrolled right through to the end, but it is there if you need it. Now, this is a funny game. The last start, for when you make up your pirate name and read out your backstory, Mad Lib style, and it continues throughout the game with the hilarious narration from the app.
We have helped enough. Good luck, Okoro. Perhaps we will meet again. Or not. Whatever.
Whatever. And the humorous cards that you're given, such as the treasure and story cards. I can't stress enough how often the silliness of whatever was happening in the app or on the board had us all cracking up around the table.
Some guy named Jack and tried to throw it overboard. Luckily I was there to catch him. Kick the old coot overboard instead. Captain Ahura asks, similar piece lost.
Because the thing is, although games will generally provide us with enjoyment, which is why we play, they often don't provide levity and humour. Usually if games do, they're kind of silly or one note, but what elevates Forgotten Waters is its ability to combine its humour, which it nails, to its solid, infallible gameplay. Now the gameplay isn't novel and it's not going to win any awards, but it's dependable. And the thing is that because it's solid, this actually prevents this game from just being a gimmick, and it would work equally as well if it had a serious story without the laughter.
What we love about this gameplay is because you're all on this ship together and you have to manage several stats to stay alive, everyone always feels really involved in other players' turns, and even better, the turns don't even feel like turns because everything becomes really fluid.
Because you never know what a player will actually be doing until after they pick their action and resolve it, everyone crowds around the booklet to see what's happening. And then this also leads to discussions because we're on the ship together. So people will say, oh, you can repair the ship there and we're a bit damaged, maybe you should do that. Or hey, we need some supplies, maybe you could grab those instead of that. And you know, this kind of, it's great because I never sat there feeling like, oh, hurry up, I want my turn now, like I do in some games. And I don't think I ever really thought of anything as my turn at all because it's all so collaborative. Now, a lot of co-op games, you know, you're all going to discuss what you're doing and you're going to have a collaborative goal that you're all working towards. But usually turn to turn, you're left to your own devices. So then you become inwardly fixated like you would in a competitive game. However, I've never played a cooperative game quite like this, where you're so engaged in other players' turns. And because you're so engaged, you spend less time thinking about your own turn. And you know, usually in the moment, I'm only looking at what we, the group, need or I need in that immediate moment and throwing my standee down. And that's it. And this allows you to become more engaged in the story as you're spending much less time inside your own head thinking.
Forgotten Waters nails the line between personal goals and group goals, because whilst everyone will generally pick an action that they want to do based on the stars that they need, most of the options will help the mission or the ship in some way, meaning that whilst everyone is being selfish, you can still work together. Not always though. It's pretty hilarious when 4 players are trying to steer the ship through rough seas and prevent damage, and the 5th player is rifling through everyone else's stuff and stealing their treasure. Alright, we need someone to man the sails, maybe even 2 of us to do that. Dave, you do sail, we need someone to sail, I'll do talk to the crew.
So one problem with the game is the difficulty, because it can be a bit random. I mean, the thing is that you kind of need a loss condition because it drives the game and gives you something to work towards. If you didn't have any of these things to look after, then the game would feel empty and kind of meaningless. But on the other hand, you know, this isn't like a Manchester Madness game where you play for hours and you get punched in the face and then you lose and you kind of expect it because it's a tough game. This is like a funny, light-hearted game that you're all enjoying and having fun. And then to only get to the end and then, you know, have like suddenly a really hard boss battle that you weren't expecting that kills you in 2 rounds. It's kind of out of nowhere and it really, I don't know, it takes away from some of the fun of the game. But I mean, on the other hand, like in this game, because the story is so funny and you have a lot of laughs, it doesn't hurt as much to lose as in other games. But still, I mean, I think obviously the theory is that if you have more people, you should be able to do the actions quicker, so you get less turns, like based on the health and how many tokens you're getting. But it doesn't work out that way because everything is based on dice rolling, which is luck. In our experience, the app works perfectly. It has amazing narration, and it also provides background noises for each location you're at, which I thought was really cool. It's web-based, so you don't need to download anything unless you want to play it offline. Its smoothness, intuitiveness, and quality really amaze me, especially when you consider the price of the entire game. I mean, when you compare it to something else app-based like Manchester Madness, which is much more expensive, it's like leaps and bounds better. I mean, I know probably a lot of the money in Manchester Madness goes towards the miniatures, but I mean, still, considering it's app-based, you could have really made it like a bit better, basically. This game shows you how it's done. The one thing I would say is that the background noises I found in later scenarios aren't actually in every location. And the thing is, because they're so noticeable when they are there, it's even more noticeable when they're not there, because it kind of feels like a gap in the game. But hopefully this is something they'll patch in later on.
The game comes with 5 scenarios, with each one taking around 4 to 5 hours to complete, although at max player count, you can probably expect to add a little more time onto this. Now you may be worrying that because the game is story driven, once you've completed a scenario, it's not worth playing again, but worry not.
I actually think there's a very high amount of replayability in these scenarios. And this is for 3 reasons. Firstly, you're a pirate. Each pirate is different, so once you play, you're going to be focusing on different pirate skills. And this means that you're going to be picking different actions. As an example, my first game, my pirate could only max out his brawn at 2. So I never did any brawn actions. So in that first scenario, there was all these brawn actions that I missed throughout the game. Secondly, these navigation tokens, as you move across the board, you flip them randomly and they have a number on it that you feed into the app. So moment to moment in these kind of like side story moments, these are going to be different each time you play because you're randomly drawing and you're going to get different things happening throughout the story. Thirdly, you have these crossroad moments where either one player or together you'll pick one of a few options, and these alter the story somewhat. So on a repeat play, you could always go back and pick another option and see how the story changes.
And if that isn't enough, this game would be very easy to add another scenario to because it's app-based. They could very easily just create a new story and upload it.
So regarding the player count, we've only played with like 4 or 5 players. So I think we can't comment on, doing it solo or doing it 2-player. But I would say I think it's probably a more fun game with more people. This is again because of, like you're having the discussions about what you're doing and talking about the ship. It's that you can steal from each other, you can steal your treasures and you can like block off other players from an action that they want to do and you have like a little laugh about it. And I think you'd lose a lot of that in solo or 2-player variants that the app provides. I wouldn't say don't get it if you're only going to play it solo or 2-player, because you'll definitely still have a good time, you'll have laughs, but probably just not as many laughs, because if you do this like Mad Libs on the pirate book, it's funnier when you have 5 people there and reading it out, rather than just you do it yourself and then you read it to yourself. I think the bottom line is if you really want to play it and you'll enjoy it, you should still get it, because I mean the story is still solid and you'll probably still have a lot of laughs. I think it would just be that me and Tally wouldn't necessarily get it out if it was just the 2 of us. We'd probably rather play something else.
I think we've said a few times that we 100% recommend a game, but with this one it's more like 150% TBH. As we said at the beginning of this video, we didn't really plan to review this game, but we decided that we just had to. We wanted to discuss it with the community. It's not often that you break out a new game and within 10 minutes realise that you're playing something really special. And it does often take me multiple plays of a game to feel one way or another, but with this one, this just didn't become an issue.
In summary, this is a swashbucklingly charming pirate game. It's hilarious, it has incredible app support, and it's simple yet solid gameplay, makes it easy to learn. The RPG elements and the app narration will have you laughing the entire game, while the gameplay will have you feeling like you really are part of a pirate crew as you run around the ship trying to load the cannons and man the sails, repel that enemy invader. And it's an experience unlike any other. And we really hope that you guys get the chance to play it as well.
If you enjoyed this video, we would love it if you could give it a like, and please subscribe to our channel for regular board game reviews, and let us know down in the comments which are your favourite co-op games.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.